sacred woman. We talked about the sacred man. We're going to talk about the sacred woman. Beautiful young ladies filled with resonant, resplendent light, joy, tranquility, peace, and divine offerings. Don't be led astray by an overly sexualized system that uses your energy as a means to pervert you and to lock you, almost imprison you into one of the functions of yourself. Beautiful young ladies, don't resist your natural urgings because others have been so into your frequencies that they're altering, postulating, almost shaping and creating you for you, doing what you ought to be doing for yourselves. Beautiful, wonderful, soul resonant young ladies, don't be carried away in the imagery and the postulations of those who wants to externalize you, who wants to ground you in the surface only, creating mentalities of these sexualized perceptions where the male becomes your enemy and the male becomes this control mechanism women needs to escape from. Beautiful, educated, talented, sociable women, remind yourself that inside you is a responsibility to see in you and see in others like that which you see for yourself. See it also in the mate of your desire. Mothers of civilization, mothers of creation, have been far more worshipped over a longer period of time on the earth plane than has the male energy been. To this very day, the feminine energy has been one of those sacred energy that is sacred to every man, woman and child. Mothers are highly revered in every culture. It is said the first words of most child is the word mama, or the inculcation of mother.
So Jah created man in his own image. In the image of Jah, he created him. Male and female, he created I and I.
From 61, I know my king man until now. From I and I come together as the two sons and daughters and healing Rastafari. And from you know is one king man alone. We is well married in the sight of King Alpha and Queen Amigo. We don't have to go to the past. Because when we live as man and woman, and king and queen in King Alpha side, and it please Jah, we are well welcome. Because we live forever and forever, which is one King Alpha and Queen Amigo. We're well married.
The role of wife within Rastafari now is a very positive role, you know, it is, and it's the most vital role, you know, for the survival of Rastafari itself. You know, the woman, she must know her, when she knows her true worth and her true self, you know, she's a good wife. And a good wife, you know, it don't just mean to do everything, you know, she is told as it is told, because, you know, you should never do anything you cannot justify to yourself and most of all to Jah.
It is not some European fiction that people get married, or that a man has responsibility for his children and his woman, you know. What might be European about it is the extent of how the person sees themselves as property of the other, along the British lines in terms of the woman being totally the property of the man. They are just going back to the African tradition because, in fact, woman and man grow together as a natural manifestation of what God would like. The Rasta woman is in a unique position right now in the 80s. She has reached a stage now where she's able to manifest all those dreams that maybe she's been having all this while. That she would like to be able to say things, that she would like to be able to build, to see our schools come to fruition. The Rastaman has been more concerned with the spiritual, making sure that we understand the scriptures and the prophecy. The Rastafari woman, she's fulfilling the fulfillment of Queen Omega. Because Empress Menen was a total person. And this is how I think a lot of Rasta women would like to see themselves. Probably one of the most important understanding is that the woman really comes to see Jah through Jah manifestation, Son of God, the man. It's only nowadays that you will hear man and man reasoning and suggesting that maybe a daughter can come to see the fullness of Jah in our own time and through our own strength.
I recognize and acknowledge the kings of kings. And it did not stop there. Acknowledging His Imperial Majesty Emperor Haile Selassie I, he has took me to a higher level where I acknowledge God in all things.
Whoa, Jah, whoa, Jah, let the sisters walk with thee. Whoa, Jah, oh, Jah, let us communicate with thee.
This is a tribute to Empress Menen. Yes, I see her. Yes, I see her. Yes, I see her in the power of life. She's a wonderful counselor. She's the treasure of my life. She teach I respect with a lot of tolerance. I standing, truth, love, and happiness, the way of life.
Behold, the Lion of the tribe of Judah, the root of King David hath prevailed. On the 21st of April 1966, Emperor Haile Selassie visited Jamaica. The Rastafari elders who had recognized the significance of the emperor's crowning were now able to confirm their beliefs.
When His Majesty is come, well, give thanks. I wake up before the man at 4 o'clock. And we gather together and we take away transportation and we reach right at the airport. Well, His Majesty was to appear 1 o'clock. So before him appear, I gather with the Haile man and when Nyahbinghi drum man and chanting and yelling for I until His Majesty come.
What the government at that time did was to remove all policemen from the crowd. They took them out of the crowd and removed them altogether. And everyone stayed exactly where they were. When the plane come down, when His Majesty come to the steps, nobody never run up and down like them mad. Everybody just in awe and, overwhelmed at what was happening. So everything was orderly. And, so I say His Majesty's visit was very important for the movement because it gave the movement the strength that it needed, the little push that it needed to see that what Rasta was talking about all this while was really true.
Well, for me, it wasn't an historical arrival. It was more a spiritual one, so I would talk for myself. It was when I saw His Majesty in 1966 when he came to Jamaica. Before I had no knowledge of him as God or King. So when he came to Jamaica, I saw him eye to eye. And some mystical thing happened between her and him. And it just came out of me that His Imperial Majesty is God. And my love, both of us love, hook right there. It was that kind of a vibration.
A lot of leaders of the Rastafari movement at that time were able to meet him personally and speak with him. And it is this that we have in our history, that we can know that what we believe in is really true and really correct.
Yes, I see her. Yes, I see her. Yes, I see her in the power of life. She's a wonderful counselor. She's the treasure of my life. She teach I respect with a lot of tolerance.
So I'm going to present some thoughts that you should just consider before you actually take that 100% deep dive into a life together. What do you have to consider before you build and strengthen a relationship? First, every marriage starts with a strong foundation, and that comes from your unity as man and woman. But that unity has to have balance and harmony, and for that to happen, you yourself as an individual, you have to have balance and harmony in your own person. So the first step towards that is that you need to deal with your own baggage first. While forming a new relationship, you can actually share that with someone, that healing process or cleansing process, but it's not their job to deal with your drama and your past and your trauma, the drama and the trauma. It's not their job to make you whole. You have to work on that yourself. Someone can help you, but it's you that has to change your behavior. It's you that has to forgive yourself. It's you that has to leave the past in the past. It's you that has to cut the cord. It's you that has to realize where you went wrong. You're the one that is responsible for your attitude, how you speak, how you talk to people, how you act around others, the things that you spend your time doing. All of these things, it's your responsibility as a person. So you're bringing yourself into a relationship. So you have to know really who you are, and are you stable? Are you happy? While it is great to have someone who can add to that, you still have to have stability within yourself, right? You are responsible for your own growth and your own spiritual development as much as you might share it with someone else. So you have to take responsibility for your baggage. You have to take responsibility for your insecurities and your shortcomings. And you must learn what worked in the past and what won't work for you now that you are starting on this path of Rastafari, or whether or not you're starting or you're in Rastafari. It's a big part of being Rasta that we live with that example of His Majesty Haile Selassie and Her Majesty Empress Menen Asfaw. They are a benchmark for how we should live our lives and how we should treat others, and the kind of attitude that we should have, which is to be disciplined and to be hardworking, to be loving, to care about others, to have compassion. These are important qualities that we learn from King Alpha and Queen Omega. So who you are in the past is not necessarily who you should be in the future. We all change as we learn more, and Rastafari really reinforces that. Whether or not you use scripture in your daily living, there's a lot of scripture like the Psalms and the Proverbs and the New Testament, which speaks on the good qualities that we should have. So basically, it's important that you yourself should be in a headspace and a heart space where you can give yourself what you need, first of all, so that you can in turn give it to someone else. Give it to that partner that you're choosing to live your life with, because your relationship is just that, it's new, right? So you have to think of it as like a new home. You have a new beautiful blank shell of a house, a perfect empty space where you want to fill it with all the things that will give you that new beginning that you want.
Yeah, man. The book of Proverbs 30 is a symbol to the feminine energy to show women that the way in which women are behaving in the current age is not wealthy, healthy, or wise. Though it is that women are getting more materially powerful, the sense of morality is skewed. And when I'm talking morality, I'm not talking about sexual immorality, because it's a big issue. But I talk about, oh, it's all about women's sexuality and controlling women's sexuality. Believe it or not, there are greater things in life than a woman's genitalia. You understand what I'm saying? The beauty of it is that we are losing touch through the feminine actions. Women are more in the belief system of trying to be equated to the actions and behaviors of men. In the old age, women were more concerned with being honorable and decent, and I'm sure it was not just to appease the ego of the so-called righteous-minded male. It was something a woman understood from antiquity about her place in the living cosmos, that she understood that there was a progenitor in her, that there was a co-creator in her, and that as an inculcator and a perpetuator of the human species, she knew how to regulate the indifferences in gender. She didn't have an agenda to masculinize herself and emasculate the male and effeminize the male. She had an intention to be the highest feminine precept, concept, possibility and ability she could be. She had an idea that the man should be a true progenitor of the human family, a true father, a true spouse, a true husband, beyond the definition, but in activity. A woman of antiquity could be called goddess, not a diva or a demon. That's what a diva is. And a man is not a thug, which is a demon. He himself is a god in activity, being and likened unto her higher self. God being neither male or female, but only in perception of human nature. We say Father God, we say Mother God. In the current ages, the postulation is stronger to refer to God in a masculine terms and say Father, because let us not be distracted by the new definitions of family, because the ancient family is still one that the male heads the family with the guidance, the protection, the love, the care and the trust of his female companion. Together, the Holy Trinity with their offspring being the Godhead in activity. Woman need not compete man for power. Man need not compete woman for beauty or attention. The world is out of order. Things are out of sort. I am strong to say this because I'm coming from my soul. There's no prejudice in me. Whoever has had choices that have made them beyond the socio-political definitions of feminism or something that they're a masochist, listen to me very carefully. People love to put congealed statements, blocks of thoughts, or head of people's reality. Feminist, machoist. But let me tell you something. I am male. You are female. You are male. And there are many females around. How you view yourself is independent to you. You need not be swayed by ideologies which you know, in fact, takes the value of who you are from you. So there are women who will say she's perfectly actualized without no reference to a male counterpart, and that her actualization is in actuality in opposition against male ideas. I'm saying, young lady, you are far. I'm saying, woman, you are far out of sorts. You've got your priorities screwed. You've got them skewed. The male and the female, and I shouldn't even be going through this like it's a diatribe. The male and the female is how life is created. So I'm not getting into no orientation psychology. Human to human. Women are out of sorts. Highly intellectual, brilliant women acting against the family, acting against communities, competing with male to take up rabid, vapid, violent, stupefied, aggressive, unkempt attitudes and behavior. Why in God's name would you want to take onto yourselves these denigrating attitudes and say it's for equal rights and justice? We live in a spiritual existence. Overtures are always there. You're always going to have an over-egotistical maniac who thinks he should subdue women. And you're always going to have these self-righteous women that think they came only of a woman. Within you is a man as well. Within the man is a woman as well. Self-control teaches us how to actualize your masculine principles, be male, yet have caring female, feminine tendencies for nurturing, for preservation, for procreation, for perpetuation. Yes, females, you have a lot of that nurturing progenitor energy, and you have some of the male in you to be assertive, to make a stance, to be determined, to be aggressive, to defend your offspring and your family, to defend your man, to defend your mate. Let us get back to harmony of the masculine and the feminine energy, where we say, ladies before gentlemen, ladies before gentlemen, kings respect your queens, queens honor your king. Let us get back to a stage where the dignity that I look through my eyes with is reflected back at me as the woman I seek favor, I seek connections, and I seek perpetuity in. Let it be that light of love and truth is returning to me. Women, rise beyond your notions and your desires for financial and cultural, socio-economic equation with the male ego. Men, for many generations, let me remind you, have been educated as being the protector, the breadwinner of the family. Our cultures, as gifted men with an ability and an understanding, when they're following the socialization and their natures, that they're here to care and protect for their families. So it is natural that a properly adjusted, well-organized human male would be responsible or driven towards responsibility in relations to his family and taking care of the needs of his wife and children, his women and kids, a woman and picnic. So women, don't ever be offended or overly conscious of a man that thinks it is his duty to take care of you, to work hard, to be in control, to be responsible, to have the organs of power in his hands, because that is how he's empowered to be your husband, your king, your general, your man. Women, this is for you. This is specifically for you. And I know the brothers will listen too. Don't be offended by my strong language. Remember, the phonetic structure of a man's vocal tonality is different from a woman. It is to carry authority. The visceral aggressive nature is to protect and to be territorial. A woman's nurturing, soft but not weakened position or nature is to nurture, is to engender trust, support, a helpmeet, to support the progeny of the family, for us to take care of each other. Women, I'm begging you, please be better women. Take not unto philosophies that's naturally taking the godliness out of you, that is taking your true purpose out of you, that is making males believe that there's no value in you, or that the value in you has been so lost and depressed, he needs to look elsewhere. Women, please, I'm asking, I'm beseeching, I'm beckoning you. Reconnect to the goddess in you. Reconnect to the true divine nature in you. You have the power. You use it each time when you beckon your will to your desire. Use it for something greater.
This is a tribute to Empress Menen. Yes, I see her. Yes, I see her. Yes, I see her in the power of life. She's a wonderful counselor. She's the treasure of my life. She teach I respect with a lot of tolerance. I first standing, truth, love and happiness, the way of life. Thanks, Rastafari.
I see how you move with your wife, right? Where did you find out? How did you learn to deal with your queen that way?
I become an opposition to the Bible. That's where I find it. Because if I was following everything in the Bible, woman would be nothing. And when His Majesty crowned 1930 and crowned Empress Menen at the same time to show I and I that man and woman is equal in the sight of Him, I bring equality and justice and truth and right in my family. But before it wasn't like that. I was very Christian-minded. Woman no fi talk, woman can't do this, woman no fi that, woman no fi this. Yes, I was like that. But I let go all of that and say all life is equal. No life is supreme to no life. You know, it takes a man and a woman to bring forth a life. A man alone can't do it, woman alone can't do it. But through the Christian law, these so-called Christian laws that they give us, that I and I used to follow, when we find out that these things is breaking down our family, because the first thing to mash down I and I people, you know, is the family. When the family break down, so they design the system and set the system that as long as the family, the man and the woman in the house break down, the picnic going astray. So we will never rise up out of this. So I say equal rights and justice, equality to all life. So I don't see I myself higher than my woman or my woman higher than I. You see equality, you know, we just see life. And she don't have to wash and cook and clean. I don't have a maid. No. All of I and I do the same thing. I don't have to come home, come sit dinner upon table. I've never seen that yet. If it's dinner, I prepare it. No, I do all of that in my house. If they want to free, but none of them can do that before because I love that. I love taking care of my family. I love the household work. You know, which them would teach us a man is the head of the woman and the woman the head of the house. You don't know how house coming in. No house coming out. All I and I have to just take care of each other, you know? Right now, to how the system have set, is set to break down all the family. They can't pay the light, they can't pay the water, they can't pay the rent, and the man are come in across the woman and then fight and then this and then that, and boom, the family mash up. And as long as the family mash up, we will never rise. Every family now, if you check it, I fight for land, fight for house, fight for car, fight for some form of fighting, some kind of illusion fighting. You need to rise above that. All these things are material things, they are nothing. How much rich man you see them bury with their house and then millions of dollars? Come on. You know? Every family I fight for house. For what? How much house you can live in now? How much room you can live in now? One. So the family need to stick together and put the material things aside.
Is a funny, you know, leave the punchline.